are you guys? As we are used to at the end of every year, we collect for you the soars and drains that came down to us in the form of a game, and which literally, if they were completely removed and their traces hidden from the year 2024, it would be much better than it is in the first place. But come on, they were already dirty this year, because I won't laugh for some. It was a year in which there were no games at all. It was just desert. The proof of that is that they were enough to add a DLC game to us so that it would remain in the Game Award for the year. But imagine that this shows you how much we are deteriorating and how much we really need new games and a games library to clean up the world a little bit. The important thing today is that I will give you some games like this. If you are happy or comfortable in your life and want to strike a balance and discuss those who brought you, you must play these games because you must know that the world is like a cucumber, sometimes in your hand and sometimes in the back of these developers. Today, we will bring the biggest choice, and here is a summary of every developer who made games for us in this list. Let's start. Let's go. We will start with the first thing with us. University Laughter, the game called Taxi Life Simulator. Oh by God, imagine even the taxi job is fun and they made a game out of it. It is almost a game of practice, and before the application is released, Uber, and you work in it, you have to play this game. The disaster is that, for example, Crazy Taxi, when we went down a long time ago, and it was crazy and funny, it had a great and really entertaining core, but imagine that they are no longer Crazy Taxi. It has become a normal taxi, takes young people. So what is the idea? This is our job anyway. People do NT like the people who brought it and the people who work in it. What is the terrible boredom that you make it a game? The idea is backward, and by the way, the game has very bad ratings on Steam because not only the game is boring, not to mention the AI and the artificial intelligence of the passengers themselves who are walking in the street. Maybe the car coaches have more brains than them. I don't know when to wait for them to enter, and you don't even know where they're going. The subject is completely messed up, and the game is not really playable. It deserved the bad ratings. I don't know after this. I mean, if they're going to make a game for everything in life, what is it after this? Simulator, how can I enter the bathroom and someone see my penis? Excuse me, but I really want the subject to be ruined. I hope you don't bring other real jobs and make them into games, because believe me, we don't need ourselves in reality. You come and put me in it. The reality in games. You are ruining the idea of games for me. Well, I want to tell you that the game I talked about is almost the best of the two monsters with us today in the list. Take the next one. This is the heavy one. Suicide Squad. I know the first time you heard the name, your body felt like it was PTSD. It was the worst moment in your life. It was really one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Rocksteady ruined her reputation with this game just because she made a game dedicated to the fetuses. Its goal is to destroy everything beautiful, especially Batman himself. He died like a normal dog in the street is a very intense thing, and secondly, this game has a very terrible repetition in the gameplay. Honestly, this is the Joker scene. What is this, Phil, guys? What is this? I don't know where you got this from. Okay, I'm satisfied. Honestly, leave it. Excuse me, now give me Ms. Freeze. You see the view in front of you. Why did you get fat? What is this hair? And what is the model? In the end, let all the looks of the heroes we love in general in the DC world have become provocative, and their style is disgusting, as they made it for the mentally ill. For example, all those who are going through periods of deviance in their lives. This is exactly what the developers and people who are happy with these scenes are doing. This is what we did in this work, in addition to the fact that the story is rubbish and the gameplay is inconvenient. As we said, its goal is to make a live service game for them to profit from for years to come. So, it's not even a year yet, and the game has been closed for something, I mean, at the top of the world. And we're still living in rosy dreams that the payment for it is $200 million. Okay, leave this one. The next one from the supporters, of course, is Sweet Baby and Her Client, the setback in the games, which is Dustborn. But imagine that you are making a game in which the obscene or violent word is what hurts the enemies. Oh my God, are you making a game that is sensitive to the sensitive of the generation or what? Excuse me, this game is only played by those who he still has chest hair and he has to wear a belt and an earring. This is the one who plays this type of games. In order for you to know how to deal with them, I will not talk about the models because, as you can see, they are all colored in themselves. This is what will come out of the company's game. Like Sweet Baby, this is a lesson to any big company that intends to cooperate with Sweet Baby. This game failed miserably, to the point that they removed it and put it among the worst games ever made in history. Bravo, Sweet Baby. Bravo to you. Seriously, believe me, this is not the only game that I failed at. But there is also another game called Unknown 9 Awakening, which is also one of the dirtiest games of this year. Praise be to God, this is your year, sweet baby. Honestly, apart from the graphics of the characters that came from PlayStation 1, and they are making an Indian atmosphere exactly as you can see, the idea is that the story is nonsense. The mechanics and artificial intelligence are almost shit broken. Let's see how the game works and how stupid it is. This is literally the look of the game. In the end, the gamers themselves said that it is broken and not suitable for you to play it at all. And keep in mind, of course, that all the heroes are here, Samar, and the only villain is the White Fox. I mean, this idea and agendas have been ruined. 5 years are enough. Shame on you. In addition, the heroine has no charisma. You don't understand why she was put in the role. I don't know, the female heroes who are put in the role without reason, they really ruin the games. Come on, in the dustbin of history continues. Okay, come to me now about a game that was the most anticipated for me. It has become the most disappointing game, which is Dragon's Age: The Veil Guard. This game is about the world of Dragon's Age when he falls into a bottle. Fortnite, this is exactly what they presented from the beginning. The world of Dragon's Edge is supposed to be dark, as you know. It has become cartoonish, without any prestige. This is the problem. They should also put a story that suits the game. They are bring up with a garbage story. In addition, of course, to the characters who made the mutant the one who. You will benefit more from the dialogues, but if you choose to be a male or a female, you will find a lot of dialogues that are not available to you at all. Quickly make yourself a girl so you can enjoy the game. What is this filth? They are happy with the subject. Not only that, but they ruined the races and leaders that we loved in the parts. The last one made them look ugly and not successful at all. All the fans, including me, were banned from this game and from BioWare itself in a terrible way. Unfortunately, this was their last chance, especially after the failure of games like Mass Effect Andromeda, which was a very failure if you remember, guys. Of course, the Anthem game here, we thought that this was the new Iron Man, turned out to be a dump in life. So imagine that Dragon's Edge is completely worse than all of them. So, in the name of God, God willing, history has not proven it. Sorry, before we get into our last third, I want to talk a little bit about Star Wars. I mean Outlaws. By God, guys, these days games should be called women because all their heroes are women and they have no need for it. The problem is that this game could have been really good, especially Star Wars, but Ubisoft, let me tell you what is ruining everything it does that is good. First of all, the heroine has no charisma at all and is hated by all gamers. Agendas are everywhere in the gameplay. I mean, it's over and outdated. I mean, the artificial intelligence are gone. I mean, it's really stupid. I mean, there's no one more stupid than him, even though the environment is nice and the Star Wars world is very beautiful. Really, this is the only good thing about the game. But you are ruining all of this, Ubisoft. Again, I mean, seriously, you are very old-fashioned, and when you play the game itself, you will feel that what they did to it is forbidden, even though I don't think it is one of the best games this year. But I put it here because, seriously, the most powerful disc game for me because it really could have done something really powerful, especially during the period in which it was released. Unfortunately, Ubisoft destroyed it, but at least it is better than its other games. For example, in the same year, Ubisoft released Skull Bones. I want to tell you that they call it the Quad AAA. What is this nonsense and nonsense? It is normal for Ubisoft to show you that they are developing the gaming world, but in reality, they are just making their asses bigger. They are not making anything else bigger. He said, is it more than AAA? What is more than what exactly? The game live service is garbage. They took the foundations they created in Assassin's Creed Black Flag and expanded it and created a world out of it. They created it from the beginning. They also disbelieved those who brought us the game, which took about 10 years to develop for us, and in the end it came out looking like this. It's also a huge loss. Guys, very few people play it, and I want to tell you that Ubisoft is very smart. They saw that the world was being destroyed around them, so they decided to try to restore their glory. Imagine what they did these days. They made an NFT game, meaning free to play. Do you remember, guys, the cards that used to cost money in the past, but the trend failed and was buried, and the time of Ubisoft passed, and they decided to have a great idea, which is that we should bring the trend back from under the dust, which is that you are living in the days of Internet Explorer. Oh, Ubisoft, honestly, I mean the trend is dead. Do you think you will get a profit from it? Unfortunately, no one plays it. The game is free to play. As you can see, the cards don't have any necessary rewards. The game is not fun at all. All of this is so they can get money and continue basically. But I want to tell you that they are trying to sell themselves, and that is exactly what is apparent. But the issue is that it is not apparent that they are selling a company. No, it's clear that they are selling their honor and they are living in a brothel house. This is what I see from Ubisoft now. Let's close the festival today. The monkeys are playing Concord. This one is on its own. It needs a circus on its own, far from the animals we have with us today, because also apart from the rhino that they put in the game, who I don't know if this is a girl or a cannon or what exactly, the scenes that are there really make you come back to this in the end. And they are all the same colors and transforming, and the game itself is like a slow and fucking shit play and not nice. And even the people who played it themselves said it was one of the worst experiences, even the match. Making someone would sit for hours just to enter a match. I have never seen a game that Sony thought was with the new Star Wars universe and was going to support for years. I really sat for 1 week and it was closed. It was extremely funny. Other than that, also, it cost them more than $400 million, meaning all of this is thrown in the trash. I wish they had distributed it better to gamers, or distributed it as a customs mark for your cards, Sony, because you failed and ruined the world with you. To be honest, the new trend will destroy games, and I hope so, because I really can see, this year only, how are the games doing? Imagine the coming years when the subject will develop more. I hope the deterioration happens so that we can start from zero and start returning again to the enjoyment of games. I hope you liked the video. These are the worst games released in 2024, according to me. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day.